stops? Have you switched this much with kind of approaches each week?
I don't think it's switching that much. I think the last 2 weeks we got Nate back, so we could do different things than we did with Riley in there. It's similar to what I had last year at Vanderbilt. We sat back. We had a guy that was not Larry Smith was not really a runner. He was more of a pocket guy, which more is like Riley. And then you sit back and we went to Jordan Rogers, who was more of a running guy, and so you had to sit back and change your approach a little bit, and that was kind of what we did. And it's the same offense, but it's a little bit, centered around a different kind of quarterback. And you can see, if you sit back and look at Western Michigan for the first half, and then you look at the last 2 weeks, that's a little bit more of what we worked on. So it's as far as using the quarterback in the run game, and then trying to open up some pass game with it. So it's just a part. Like I said, it's all building a foundation and building blocks, and we're trying to do that.
So with Zach Becker, we don't see much fullback anymore in this game.
No, you don't. But Zach's a guy that you feel like we want to have a package for him, because he's a guy that we want to give him a chance to play. He's sat back, he's played in the past, and he's a physical guy, and he gives you a little bit of a more blue-collar type approach, and so we wanted to try to do something to get him in the game, and we'll continue to try to utilize the guys we got. I mean, that's kind of the name of the game.
Is it an emphasis to get John Davis more involved? I know he's been dinged up a little bit.
We'd like to, yes. I think it's one of those things where it's been tough because we sit back and it's 1 week it's John Davis has this, or the next week it's Nate's not there, or it's the next week it's Graham Posick and Hughes not playing. So we'd love to just see what we look like with all our parts together. But that being said, that's football, and we're not the only team in the country that's like that. You sit back and everybody's going through their injury bug, Minnesota and Purdue and everybody. So that's just part of the game, and we've got to be able to do what we got to do to be able to execute.
When Brady got to Michigan, he was talking about trying to create a more physical kind of atmosphere. Where's he at in that regard, do you think?
They do a good job of what they do. They're great up front. We don't watch much of what their offense does. We watch more of their defense, but you sit back and you just see they're physical on both lines. And you sit back, and that's where the game is really, starts, and when you win up front. And they've done a good job of being stout up front. They got a lot of senior offensive linemen. They got some senior defensive linemen. Number 88 is about as good as there is in this league. And you sit back, and those guys, they pound you up front. 55. He's a big physical guy, 73. He's like 6'6", 305. So they got guys that bloody your nose, and that's what I think Coach Hoke wants to do. And that's what Michigan's always done.
Yeah, I guess that's what you expect from a guy that was a defensive line kind of a guy.
Right, no question. And he's got a blueprint of what he wants, and Coach Madison knows what he wants. And he's been in the NFL and been with winning programs at Florida and Notre Dame, and you sit back, and that's one of the things that they're gonna do. And you sit back and you see that, and that's at one point we want to be able to do that.
How much does it take to build a line like you want to build one?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think it's all about recruiting in this game. You got to get guys. You got to get guys up front, and our whole thing is when you sit back and we're playing with freshmen, sophomores, young guys, and you watch Michigan, and they've got all seniors up front, and so you hope it doesn't take that long to get to where you want to be, but you've also got to develop those guys, and then you get a little bit more weight on them, you get a little bit more experience on them, and give them a chance to compete up front with some of these older fronts, and that's kind of what it is.
Is there the potential with this group of linemen, though, that in a year or two they could be there?
I think so. I think it's we've got a lot of young guys, and again, that's no excuse. They've got to grow up in a hurry. And but you sit back, you say Teddy Karras is a redshirt freshman, Mike Heights is a sophomore, I believe, and you sit back and you got a lot of young guys outside of Hugh and Graham, that've got a lot of development to do, and their upside is, in front of them. So, like I said, it's all, part of a process, and that's kind of the deal. Is you want to build a foundation, and that's where you build it up front.